Beetlejuice is directed by Tim Burton, and it's the sequel to Beetlejuice. Michael Keaton and Winona Ryder come back, and this time there's new people joining the cast like Willem Dafoe and Jenna Ortega. And it's when it comes to the story, there's a lot going on, but here's the main plot. So after a family tragedy, three generations of the family from the first movie come back to Winter River, but when Winona Ryder's character, Lydia's teenage daughter, accidentally opens up the portal to the afterlife, hilarity ensues when Beetlejuice comes along. Okay, Beetlejuice 2. It's been widely anticipated. And you know how it usually goes with a lot of sequels that come out decades after the original. They usually suck. And I was fearing that going into Beetlejuice 2, not only because of that, but also because Tim Burton has not been that great of a director in quite some time. His last great movie was Frankenweenie, which I am reviewing this year on the 31 Days of Spooks. Just pointing it out there. But yeah, Tim Burton hasn't really been that great of a director in the past over a decade, so when he was coming back to direct Beetlejuice 2, I'm like, we'll see. Thankfully, I am happy to report that Beetlejuice 2 was fucking awesome. This was a damn good movie. Thank you, Tim Burton, for putting out a movie that doesn't fucking suck. Not only because of your past few movies haven't been so great, but movies in the past month have not been good. This and Alien Romulus were the only good movies I have seen since the beginning of August. Anyways, what was so good about Beetlejuice? It has the same energy of the original. Tim Burton has not lost his magic when it comes to directing this. Thank you! You're back! Hopefully you stay back now. Make more movies like this. This movie was creative, it was funny, it had energy. Everything that was great about the first one was in this movie. You even get a little bit more of Michael Keaton as Beetlejuice this time around. Only by like a few minutes, but when he's on screen, and it applies here just like it did in the first one, when Beetlejuice is on screen, this movie really gets entertaining. Michael Keaton is fantastic in this movie. He's just as good here, if not better, than what he was in the first one. That's how good Michael Keaton is in this role. You can tell he was dying to play this role for years. Again, it was awesome. When if there's ever a consideration for best supporting actor for Michael Keaton in Beetlejuice, I hope he gets it, because he fucking stole every scene that he had in this movie, and all of the cast was really good. Willem Dafoe I would say Willem Dafoe is probably the second best cast member in this movie, other than Michael Keaton. Willem Dafoe is a treasure. He's one of the best actors working today, and he was just as good as Michael Keaton in this movie. He had just the same amount of energy. He was really quirky. He was very entertaining to watch. Willem Dafoe was also a scene stealer here. And of course, you got Jenna Ortega. She's being Jenna Ortega, but it works. Winona Ryder was really good in this movie. Fuck, it's been a while since I've seen Winona Ryder in something. And she was good in this movie too. She's this time she's playing this fucking paranormal investigator type thing, and I thought it worked. She was really into that shit in the first movie. Like, she was unfazed by anything in the first movie, so yeah, it made sense for her to take like paranormal stuff as a career path. And yeah, it was good. But by far, one of the best things about Beetlejuice, when it comes to plot-wise, it's not a rehash of the first one. It's doing its own thing. You don't get a couple dying in the beginning of it or shit, and then they have to find out who Beetlejuice is. No, that is not what happens here. It's not whatsoever a rehash of the first one. And that's mad respect for Tim Burton right there. You know, because it's a sequel that came out almost 40 fucking years after the original, he could have gone that route with just telling the same plot again, bringing Beetlejuice back for a new generation. That's not what he did. It feels like a continuation, and it's not a rehash. It's not desperate. It does not feel like a cash grab. It was great. I very much respect Tim Burton for going the route that a lot of these other fucking people who try to bring old shit back should have been doing, but they didn't. But Tim Burton, I got some newfound respect for you. I hope you're back. And yeah, another thing about the movie is that it's funny, it's just as creative, and holy shit, the practical and makeup effects, that comes back here too. There's very little, there is some CGI in this movie, but it takes a back seat from all of the great makeup and practical effects work. There is a lot of that in this movie too, and it was glorious. It felt awesome seeing that kind of thing on the big screen, especially for a big movie like this. And not just like indie horror or stuff from like A24 and stuff like that. This is a big studio movie with a big budget, using makeup and practical effects, and even stop motion as well. It was awesome seeing that this day and age. And there's also some pretty gory scenes in this movie too. Like, this is a PG-13 movie, and there's some pretty gruesome imagery in this movie, and I loved it. This almost feels like a hard PG-13 at times. It was great, like borderline rated R. It was awesome. Hell yeah. The only issue I really had with Beetlejuice was that even though it feels like a continuation, I never got that feeling that this was really a necessary movie. Like, you could have just had the first Beetlejuice and be perfectly fine. But it's just a minor issue. Even though it never felt like it was necessary, that did not stop me from enjoying the fuck out of this movie. This is easily one of the biggest surprises of the year. I went in expecting nothing, and I got a lot out of this. This movie was fun, it was entertaining, it was funny, it was imaginative, all those great things you could say about a movie. I loved Beetlejuice 2. It was awesome. Do I think there should be a third one, though? No. If you leave it at this, that's all you need. You just got two really fucking good movies here. Definitely watch this in theaters. See this on the big screen. Do not wait until this comes out on streaming and shit like that. Support it. If you want better movies and uses like practical effects and it's actually funny and it's creative, see it. It might give people an incentive to, make better stuff, use more practical effects, be more creative. And even though this isn't an original film, it's still got some creativity and imagination and some original kind of like, what do you say? Like original ideas in terms of visuals and stuff. That's definitely what I could say about Beetlejuice. Just see it in theaters. Support it. Anyways, I highly recommend Beetlejuice. It is great. I am going to give Beetlejuice an A.